What's up? I thought I would share a little of my shoe journey as I know that as I've tried different activities, that's a huge question that always comes up for me and for other people. And I love watching shoe reviews on YouTube, mostly because my husband got, I know way too much about shoes because he would just like spend endless time watching these reviews. And although I used to make fun of it, it's really helpful because, they're going through all the specs and all this stuff. Now, this is not going to be a super technical review because I'm not super advanced in the technical arena of the shoe department yet, maybe one day. But I've tried a lot. I might have a slight problem, but I don't. I blame my husband for that because, like I said, if you think I have a large collection, he has an even larger or the same. So, anyway, I definitely started off in the On arena, as I know is a super popular trending shoe right now. So when I was originally getting into like running and things like that, it was because I was training for high rocks. Before that, as I've said before, I was a yogi for since I was 12. So since I was really, young, and so that was a no shoe game. And then I really just mainly did like, typical gym rat stuff. So I was not like, it was probably a year or so ago that I transitioned more into high intensity and needed to like actually understand what shoes I was wearing to the gym. So I started with the Cloudgo for most of my high intensity training. It was a great shoe. It's still a great shoe. I love it if I'm just like not doing a lot of running. The Cloud Boom Echo, I think, is what these were. This is like the older version. Actually, is it the Echo? Whatever, Cloud Boom something. This is the shoe that I did high rocks in. I loved it for that because it was really grippy. So for the sled and things like that, it was like really beneficial because how people were doing that in max cushion shoes, I have no clue, but it served its purpose. It is not very comfortable for longer runs. And same with the Go. That's what I kind of found with all of the On department. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time boring you with like the ins and outs, but this is more of a racing shoe, and I did find that I can do really great sprinting in it, but that's about it as far as like a long runs and things like that. Anything over like 3 miles, no go. I can hit about 3 miles in these, and past that, I'm like, no thanks. Okay, so Cloudmonster, this is the second generation. I have not tried the newer one, so I've heard really great things. I did love it, but my issue was and I had kind of heard this in some other reviews, is when I started to try to like pick up the pace or run at like a little bit steadier, fast pace for myself. I just felt like it wasn't, I don't know if the word's responsive. Like I just didn't feel like I could kind of go the way I wanted to. It felt heavy. I like them for walking around, but that's about it. When I first decided that I wanted to start getting into like 10K and then flirting with half marathon arena, I transitioned to the Eclipse. Like when I tell you I'm an on freak, I like an on freak. Um, so I did really like this, but I started to notice, I think that I kind of actually, I ran my first 10K in these shoes, and it went well, but past 6 miles, I couldn't do it. They didn't have enough cushion for me, and yeah, so that was the end of the on journey. So then I was like, okay, so what does everyone wear next? Hoka. So I tried Mach 5. I got this and I did love it. Super light, which is awesome, especially compared to like all of my on shoes except for maybe these. Actually, these are pretty heavy. Yeah, I did really like it, but any PT will tell you that it's narrow, doesn't allow your toes to spread. I didn't want to listen. Like most things, I just have to learn the hard way. And again, I started to have some issues in well, it started as an issue with my hip, but you know, I'm not saying it's totally issues, but what I understand about, the importance of having a wide enough toe box is that if your toes don't have enough space to spread, then that's just obvious that it's going to cause issues elsewhere, up the chain. So I went from these to the Mach X, and my plan was to run my half in my Mach X. I did really like both of them, but again, I also noticed, like, I am a huge person that whenever it gets warmer outside, my feet do swell. So I noticed that in both of these, my feet started to swell. Perhaps in the winter I'd be okay, but it is hot in Texas, so I needed all the space I could get, and I wasn't getting enough of it. So when I would hit mile 6, I'd pretty much have like, some, now I just lost the word, but I'd have pain in the arch of my foot for the rest of my run. So I don't have my Mach X anymore because I was luckily able to return them. And then from there, I went to the New Balance 1080, and those were great as far as cushion. It felt good. It was a wider toe box. I don't have those anymore either. I did one long run in them, and I actually did the half marathon in those, and not a good scenario. I was having major issue with my foot halfway through the race. So I felt lucky enough just to finish because it was pretty excruciating. Rookie mistake. I decided to not, well, not that I decided not to, but I didn't do a long enough run in them prior to the race to test if they were going to cause the same issue that I've been having with every other shoe. So after painful amounts of research, which, how great that I can't remember the word of what that is called. Okay, I took a slight pause to look it up because I'm like, how can I talk about this issue that I've been having and not remember what it's called? Anyway, plantar fasciitis. Wow, it's like one of the most common things that runners deal with. So I don't really know that, like, when you look at, the Google search of all of the elements of plantar fasciitis, I don't really feel like mine is an extreme case or was an extreme case. Most of my pain came in when I would be running, and then past that, I didn't really have too much problem. From some different people that I talked to, I feel like, well, whenever someone was explaining it to me, they were saying, especially whenever, because I was inquiring about Altra, which I'll get into my switch to this and like how this journey is going in a minute. But when they were explaining it, they were saying that what happens whenever you're wearing like more constricting toe box shoes, like especially Hoka, is, if you're someone who has stronger feet, then it won't, like, that pain won't necessarily kick in until the later miles. And so that's kind of what was happening to me because I started my journey in yoga. Whatever started, I didn't like intentionally start it, obviously, but that's my baseline. I am used to being barefoot, and I have very, great stability on one leg and things like that. So a lot of my issues, they wouldn't really arise until I hit that mile 6 area. And it was like, literally, I'd hit mile 6 and then it would be downhill at like right after 6 miles, which it's insane because, like, when I look at my breakdown from the half, that's exactly the point that it occurred, and it was like downhill from there. So anyway, kind of after that happened, like, I had already been feeling like I wanted to go towards Altra. I had been familiar with the brand from a long time ago, and it was something that, like, I had tried their, earlier models. I have a pair of the think it's torn. Yeah, I have the torn fives. Also, they're not pictured here, but I don't really like them because I don't know. They just like fit my foot kind of weird. Now, I have heard from many people that transitioning to Altra is a transition, and it takes time for you to adjust. But I also think that you kind of have to, go through and figure out exactly the model that works for you, just like any shoe. So, a shout out to Fleet Feet. I went to Fleet Feet, did my analysis again. I had done it a long time ago, and then and kind of found out. I went in, told them I was like, look, this is what's happened. This is the direction I want to go. I know I want to try Altra. I definitely don't want to do anything with an insert. I don't want to be relying on that. So I tried, so they did the analysis of my feet. It confirmed exactly what I explained. I have, pretty high arches. I have very strong feet. Everything, I need a neutral shoe. So I was going in the right direction with everything I've tried. Everything I've tried is a more neutral shoe. I think maybe this one's not. Again, I'm not going to like pretend to know the technicality behind that. But anyway, I knew that I wanted to eventually look to getting into full marathon territory and something beyond that. So I didn't want, I have had a tendency to go in, try on the shoe. It would feel great in the moment. But I kind of started to like have these trigger things in my brain of it being really tight, especially on my right foot. So my right arch is higher. And then I forgot what this part's called, but this part of my foot's higher as well. So when I would try the shoes in the store, I was used to that like snug feeling, and it felt really comfortable because it was like a safe feeling. And so I tried on I tried on several different Altras, but there were two models that felt the best to me. The Torin 7, they had kind of redone them, obviously, since I tried the fives, and the cushion felt really great. They felt like I'll eventually get those. I love the way they felt, but the person that was helping me was like, you know what? Because I went in and I asked about this is the Via Olympus. I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's this one. This is their max cushion. I know, I don't know. I think there's like mixed feelings on Altra having more of a max cushion. But the whole idea, if you're not familiar, is they have a zero drop. So your foot is on an even playing field, whatever, as far as like, laying here. Whereas like, I believe this one has a 6 millimeter drop. Don't quote me, but anyway, so that's kind of the idea. And, for some people who are transitioning from like a Hoka or On or a different shoe like that, it does take time. I thought that was another fear of mine of why I was like, oh, I don't want to take that dive just yet when it was like down to the last 2 weeks before my half. Because I was like, well, what if I like really can't adjust them within this time period? I should have just tried them but whatever, hindsight's 2020. Because they felt amazing. Like, and so far, this is the best of all the worlds for me as far as long distance is concerned. Now, I do want the Torin 7 just for my shorter runs, but I'm so happy with these so far. I feel like I have plenty of room in my toe box. I think that I'm just like, I was so used to my toes feeling crammed, as probably all of us are, that I was like, wow, this is what freedom feels like for your feet. That is. So anyway, I also have realized that I have to tie my shoes looser than I thought, especially on the right side. Because like I said, to kind of like count for that foot swelling that I'll get. Now, I haven't done a super long run in these yet, so I don't want to like give my full 100% stamp of approval. These are my shoes, but I've done a few runs in them. They feel great. I'll report back once I do past 6 miles, because that's, like I said, that's that spot that I know that I usually have all my trigger points. So yeah, so this is what I'm running in. And then I thought I would just kind of also talk about what I'm training in. So when I train at home, which this is my home gym, um, I will train a lot barefoot. And I was finding that like when I would go to the gym, I was doing the same thing. Like every time I go to the squat rack, I'm taking my shoes off. Like it's just more comfortable for me. I'm used to being barefoot. So I've been like wanting to like make that barefoot dive, but I'm all about like sorry, but I'm like I like to be cute, okay? And sometimes the barefoot and the ultras just aren't always that cute, but I'm trying to make them cute. So maybe it's just you know, you're it's in the eyes of the beholder. I don't know, whatever, that didn't even make sense. Anyway, so these are super cheap Amazon barefoot shoes. They are so freaking comfortable. Like they're so comfortable. This is like the trail. I don't know. I'll figure out how to link it because it's pretty like they're pretty great. So I train these at the gym, and then like any good barefoot transition, I got a pair of Vivos. So these are brand new. I'm super excited to wear these. These are more of a casual shoe, but I'm still gonna wear them to the gym and just casually. So anyway, like I said, I'll do a bigger update once I um, get past 6 miles in the Olympus, and then I also plan on getting a pair of the trail shoes too, because right now I have a Hoka trail shoe, and I know it's causing me issues. So anyway, hopefully that is a little bit helpful. If you have any other specific questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to. Just let me know in the comments.